Hello, welcome back to part 2 of War of the Roses battle report with using Lion Rampant rules. So, one mistake I made last time was that I realised that because Thomas Percy is a commanding leader, he could have re-rolled the movement roll for the billman. So I actually forgot to do that, so sorry about that. And I think the mercenary leader could have done the same thing last time. So we didn't get to 5 turns, we got to 4 turns. So this is turn 5 now. So we'll see how far we can get in this video. Hopefully we'll get a bit of a clash of units and we'll get to see some action. Okay, so let's get straight into it. So turn 5. So we're going to carry on with the initiative with the Percys going first. And right, so what do the Percys want to do? Well, the billmen now, in the second part, they really want to get into position so they can either attack or defend the archers against the light horses they're coming in. So what sort of range have we got? We're too far away. They're still too far to attack. So really they just want to move into position so they can defend the archers, and then maybe the archers can get around and maybe up onto that hill on the left hand side, and then they could shoot. So sergeants. So the billmen, they need to move on a 5+. So Percy is closer than 12 inches, so he could command this if he needs to. 5+ failed. Okay, so Percy tries to do it again and succeed. Right, okay. So move roll of 6 inches. This will put them directly in position, ready to receive the charge from the horsemen. So we'll just move them into position. Okay, so 6-inch move. They just really want to put themselves right in the way of these horsemen. Okay, now they're not really going to be able to do much else than that. So they're putting themselves in a position where they basically are trying to defend the archers behind them. Okay. Slightly closer than that. There we go. Right, so the billmen finally got themselves into position. They can't attack because they weren't close enough to attack. They could have charged in if they were less than 6 inches, but they couldn't do so. So they're now close enough for the cavalry, the light horse of the mercenaries, to charge them. Okay, so that's basically the billmen have moved. So the archers now can't shoot because the billmen have put themselves in position. But maybe that's not such a bad thing because they're probably needed elsewhere. The archers up on the hilltop might now be able to shoot. So if we try and... yeah, okay. So the archers on the hillside can now shoot into the flank of these cavalry. So, shooting. So the archers need a... 6+ to shoot. No, so Percy will command. Not sure how often Percy can command actually. Let me just take a quick look at that rule. If they can only command once per turn, I think it's 1 roll per turn, to be honest. Yeah, it's only 1 roll per turn. So the archers on the hillside fail, so that's the end of the Percy's turn. Okay, so over to the mercenaries. Now their position is actually pretty good. They're in quite a nice, strong defensive position. The gunners are on the behind the wall. The gunners might be able to hit the archers. Okay, they've got a range. I actually slightly reduced their range down to 12 inches because I didn't think that medieval guns could shoot as far as bows, but they're way out of range anyway, so they're not in range. I can't see the billmen, they're too far away for them. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to try and move up the mercenary billmen first. So if we can try and move these guys forward. Okay, so they move on a 5 plus. Yep, okay. So let's move the billmen up, ready, and into some kind of position. Okay, so 6 inches forward. It's looking quite nice now for the mercenaries. 6 inches forward. So they're slowly making their way up the field, and no doubt they'll be well in range of some kind of charge or attack later. Okay, so that's the billman moved up into position. Now, I know that I said 3 inches apart for, you know, coherence and everything. Well, you know, you can try and maintain that. Don't worry too much if you're not 3 inches apart from the other units. Okay, that's just the way it goes sometimes, isn't it? Okay, don't worry too much about that. Okay, so next unit. So I want to kind of leave the archers and the crossbowmen where they are. Maybe move the crossbowmen just into a better position. Okay, so they're hugging that wall. So we'll try to do that with the crossbowmen. Okay, so we're just going to move them to try to hug the wall. So we'll do an activation test to see if they can actually move. They need a 6 plus. Ooh, 12, nice. Okay, no problems whatsoever. So they can easily get into position. They're way lots of space to move around. Now that will take them slightly closer to the other two units, but you know what, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm just going to move them along. There we go. Okay, so now they're in 2 ranks behind the wall, and they should be in a nice position so they can shoot at the heavy cavalry. Right, so any more orders? I'm going to leave the archers where they are. I think I'm going to bring the handgunners over the wall so they can start to do something over here, because they don't really want to be up against the cavalry. The crossbowmen, the pikemen, the billmen and the archers are already there to deal with all of that. So let's try to get the handgunners over the wall. So I'm going to move them on 6 plus. Failed, okay. 12 inches from the leader though. So he's going to order that again, that movement. Done it, 9, okay. So the handgunners are going to move over the wall. Okay, they're going to move 6 inches. And to be honest, you know, 3 inches because they're climbing over an obstacle. But they should be able to do it. Should put them pretty much on the other side of this wall. Okay. So you can imagine the handgunners just clambering over the wall, trying to get into a defensive position. Probably going to come a bit further up, then they can get behind this wall, and then they can be in a position where they can shoot at the billmen and the archers. Okay, they might be taken out by the archers actually. Because they're too far away from this wall, they're actually still maybe getting a little bit of cover from this corner here, we'll see. Okay, We'll see what happens. Okay, so that's pretty much all I want to do with the mercenaries. I think I don't want to do any more commands with them. Ah, hang on, the cavalry. Yeah, we want the light cavalry to charge those billmen, don't we? Right. Okay. So light cavalry, they're gonna attack. They're gonna charge the billmen. So they're mounted sergeants. They've got an attack of 5+. They're only special rule as a counter charge, but they're not being charged. Okay, so they get, so basically 5+ to attack. Here we go, 5+. 5+. 4 failed. Okay, they failed to charge. The commander is already, he's 12 inches away, but he's already used his reroll. Okay, that's the end of that. And they failed the roll, so that's the end of their turn. So that was turn 5. Okay, not turn 4. This is turn 4. I'm going to roll for snow again. See if we get snow. Yes, it's now snowing. So shooting is now 12-inch max range. And people who are shot at now get +1 armour, so it's made a big difference. Okay, so this is now turn 6. Okay, let's start with the Percys and see what we can do with the Percys. So the billmen, I think here, are going to charge these cavalry. Okay, there's no reason why they wouldn't do that. All right. So in order to charge, billmen need a 6+ to charge. Roll a 4. Really want to do this, so I'm going to use Percy's reroll. 7. They're in. Okay. They charge the cavalry. So they move into contact with the cavalry. Okay. So bit of an odd thing to do, but there you go. This is what they're doing. Hang on. Right, they're charging, okay, but remember, the light cavalry have got counter charge. So what the light cavalry can do is they can basically carry out the charge. And so what they can do is, when the enemy attacks them, if they're on a 7+, they can do a counter charge, and they can both use their attacking score as opposed to the defensive score. So for both of them, their attack score is better than their defensive score. So they really want to use their attack score. So a counter charge basically allows you to fight back using your attacking score. So on a 7+, the light cavalry can counter charge. So billmen are running in, the light cavalry go, whoa, charge! 7+, done it. Okay, counter charge. So the two units basically meet at an equal distance from each other. So just move these guys forward slightly, okay, about ½ inch, and then move the cavalry forward slightly, ½ inch. So they basically charge each other, pretty much. Okay, they charge each other. Okay, so they're now both using their attack scores. So there's 12 cavalrymen still, so they're getting 12 dice. All right, and basically because there are only 6 mounted sergeants, the light cavalry, but they still get 12 dice as well because they're still a full unit. Okay, you only go down to 6 dice if you're below half strength. So both units get 12 dice using their attack scores in order to realise this. Okay, so it's basically attack value of 4+ for the mounted sergeants for these guys, and it's an attack value of 6+ for the billmen. So that's pretty good. So the billmen are slightly better. So we'll do the billmen first. 6+, and now I'll do the mounted sergeants. Okay, so the billman. Ooh. Actually, no, it's a lot worse, isn't it? 6+ for the billman. Okay. Let me just check that, because that seems quite low. Oh, sorry, 5+ for the billman. Yeah. Okay. Okay. 5+ for the billman. Right. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 fails. So 3 models for the billman. Okay. So 3 for the billman, and it's 4+ for the mounted sergeants. Okay. So 3 for the billman. Ooh, lots of fails there. That's not bad at all. Okay. And 6 for the mounted sergeants. Okay. So essentially, what happens there is this is an attack. So the mounted sergeants did 6, the billman did 3. So the mounted sergeants' armour is 3. So again, they just lose 1 model. Okay, they just lose 1 model. But the billman, their armour should be slightly better. Their armour's 3 as well, which is not great. They didn't have a chance to move into a schiltron, so they're going to lose 2 models from their unit. So they basically lost twice as many models. So remove the 2 from the back. Okay. So 2 billmen die and 1 mounted sergeant dies. Okay. So the unit that has taken the most casualties, okay, but basically both units take a courage test now because they've both lost models. The mounted sergeants are now at -2, and the billmen are at -2 as well. So they both take a courage test. The mounted sergeants are 12 inches from the leader, or are they? Yep, and the billmen are just 12 inches from Percy as well. So they're both negating that one of the minuses. So they're both at -1 on this roll. So it's 2d6, 2d6 -1 again, okay, for their courage test. So the mounted sergeant's courage is 4+, so this is 5+, okay, for the mounted sergeants. Succeed. For the billmen, their courage is 4+, so 5+ for them. Okay, they succeed as well. So they both make their courage roll. Okay, but the unit that which has the most casualties needs to retreat a half move at least 3 inches. Okay, if the casualties removed are equal, the attacker must retreat. Okay, so in this case, because even though they made their courage roll, the billmen, they took 2 casualties to the light horseman's 1 casualty, so they need to retreat. They retreat, but they're not battered. Okay, so they retreat 3 inches backwards. Okay, so pretty much straight backwards without any deviation. Okay, so they basically got pushed back by the counter charge of the light horse of the Scourers, which is pretty much what the Scourers wanted to do. They wanted to push them back, and next turn they can charge again. So we're still in turn 6. So the Percy billmen charged, lost the combat, and were retreated, were pushed back 3 inches. Okay, so we're still with the Percys. I think, I'm just wondering if I can see with the archers. I'm going to try and move Thomas Percy forward and try and order him to move forward. So he basically moves on a 5+. Yes, this time. Okay, the Percys are getting into this battle. Okay, I'm going to move him forward. I think I'm going to move him straight forward. I'm going to put him straight down this road. So 6 inches onto the roadway. Trying to get into this battle. Okay. So the only casualties we took so far are the billman and the light horse. Right. Now, ooh, it's snowing, so 12 inches is as far as you can shoot now with archers, with anything. So these archers are going to have to come off this hillside because they're not going to do anything up there. They're not going to be in position. So I'm going to try and get these archers down off this hillside. Okay. So archers, basically, they'll move on a 6+. Okay. Oh, failed. Okay. Can't move those archers. So end of the Percy's movement activation. Okay. So we're still in turn 6, I think. Okay. And so let's try and move these. Oh no, we're now in turn. Yeah, we're in turn 6 still. Okay. So onto the mercenaries. So I'm going to move these handgunners forward. Okay. These guys need a 6+ to move. I'm going to get these into some kind of position. Yes. Okay, so the handgunners are moving into position. Okay, another 6 inches forward for them. They're slowly creeping up. Okay. See if they can do some damage. They're pretty much being ignored by everybody at the moment. They're getting closer and closer to this wall. Okay, which will put them in a very nice defensive position. Okay, let's see if we can move any of the other units. I want to get these billmen up, really. Alright, I'm going to get these billmen to move. 5+ for the billmen. Okay, yes, it's all going nicely for the mercenaries now. Another 6 inches, get these billmen moving up. Okay, so billmen are coming, handgunners are coming up. Nice. Okay, so just move these guys up, right? They shouldn't be there. They're the casualties from last turn. Right, so let's carry on with the movement for the mercenaries. I think the archers just want to stay there on the hillside, don't they? There's no reason to move these guys. The crossbowmen really want to stay there, and they want to stay there to meet the charge of the cavalry. And maybe I want to move them slightly. The other movement is obviously the light horse. So the trouble is, the light horse are now getting a bit bogged down because they can't just fight the archers now. They've got to plough straight into these billmen. But if they take these billmen out, that is going to be a big advantage for them. And it's going to be basically death or glory for them, because if they can destroy these billmen, then that's a real roadblock out of the way, because the only thing left then are going to be a unit of archers. and a small unit of men-at-arms. So I think they're going to charge the billmen. Yeah, why not? Okay. So mounted sergeants, they're going to activate. They need to attack, so they need 5+ in order to do this. Yep. Oh, yeah, it's 5. Okay, so mounted sergeant's going to charge. The foot sergeants are going to move into... right, no they can't. They can't form a schiltron unless it's their move turn. So they could have done it on their move, but they can't do it now. So there are still 4 men left out of a 6-man unit for the mounted sergeants. So they have enough men to still roll 12 dice. They won't roll 6 dice until they go down to 3 men. Okay, so they're still rolling 6 dice. All right. Now, because the billmen don't have countercharge, they can't use their attacks. They've got to use their defences. So for them, it's probably better to use defence because they're billmen, they're in armour, they're infantry. So it's going to be attacks versus defence. Let's see how many we get. Okay. So, billman defence value of 4+. And sergeant's attack value is 4+ as well, so it's the same basically. It's the same for both. So 4+ versus 4+ again. Okay, so charge on charge. So do the mounted, the light cavalry first. Okay, ooh, okay. Look at what 6 is. I wish I rolled like this when I'm playing 40k. Okay, so 4+. Right, that's a lot of damage. Okay, that's a lot of damage. Okay. So that's 6. Right, okay, so that's 8 dice. Now, because the armour of the mounted sergeants is 3, okay, it would have been 4 if they got into a schiltron, which would reduce the damage, the units lost, even models lost even further. Basically, they can only lose 2 models. They can't lose 3 because it's for every 3 damage done. So 2 are gone. 2 just drop off. Okay, so it's 2 3s. Okay, so it's basically 2 models again lost by the mounted sergeants. Okay, now I'm not sure. I think that everything is simultaneous in Lion Rampant. So the mounted sergeants don't basically lose models until they drop down to 6 dice. It's simultaneous. So the mounted sergeants also get 6 dice. Okay. Again 4+. Okay. Again, nowhere near as good, but not too bad. 4+ wasn't too bad for them. And they're the same. Yeah, same again. Okay, so they both lose 2 units, which means 2 models, which means they're equal. Okay. They both need to make a courage test. They're both 2 more models down. Okay. And now the light horse are down to only 2 models, which means they've now dropped down below 50% of their unit. Mounted sergeants are still on 8, so they're not 50% below yet, so they're not too bad. So what happens now is they both make a courage test. Now, for the mounted sergeants, it's now at -4, and for the men at arms, sorry, the billmen, we're now at -4 as well. They've also lost 4, so it's -4 for both. Okay, the billmen have got Thomas Percy within 12 inches, so they're getting +1, but the mounted guys are now too far away from their commander, so they won't get the +1 for that. Okay, so the courage for the light cavalry is 4+. -4 for the amount that they've lost. Okay, It was equal in terms of the units lost. So, okay. So, they will be the ones to have to retreat because they're the attacker and the units lost were equal. But let's just see what their casualty is first. Alright, oh, and they're also below half strength now, so they're -1 for that as well. So they're -5, okay, on the 2d6 roll. And they're trying to roll at 4+. So let's see what happens. So 4+ and -5 on the roll, okay, they could fail this. Okay, yeah, they failed it. It's a 3, okay, -5, 3. So they are basically, they failed, okay. It's not 0 or less, okay, it's a 3. Alright, so they're not removed from battle yet, okay, but they do have to retreat and they are battered as well. Okay, so the only thing they can do next turn now is they must try and rally. Okay, so they're going to basically go 3 inches backwards. They would have been retreating anyway because they were the attacker and it was equal. Okay, so they're 3 inches backwards and they're now battered as well. Okay. Okay, so stick a battered marker on them. We're going to do that earlier, won't we? But okay, so they're now battered. Okay. So same for the foot sergeants. They've also got to make a casualty roll. All right. So theirs is also 4+. A courage roll, sorry. Theirs is also 4+. They're rolling at -4. But they're not half strength, so they're -4. Now, if I roll 4, they will basically be destroyed. They'll be routed. If I roll more than 4, they'll be okay. Okay, but basically I've got to roll 8+ in order to succeed this courage roll. Okay. No. Okay. Roll a 1. So they're okay, but they are battered, and they do retreat as well. Okay. So 3 inch backwards. Okay. Basically, the bit of a shock for both units. Okay. Battered, move back 3 inches. Okay. So quite a clash for both of these units, and they're also battered. So 2 battered units. They clash once. The billmen move back. They clash again, and this time it's the light horse that come off worse. Okay, so 2 battered units have now sprung apart on the battlefield. So we're still with the mercenaries. That's because it was the light cavalry that charged then, and I think I'm gonna leave that there for the mercenaries and go back to the Percys. Okay, so it's a Percy's go. We're now on turn 7, I think. Okay, I'll basically work this out when we get to the video. Okay, it's snowing. Let's see if the snow stops. No, it's still snowing. Okay, so it's still 12 inches. Now, Percys. This makes it quite interesting now, because what we've got here now on this side is, this has opened up nicely now for the archers, okay, to shoot at the horsemen. So the horsemen are basically retreated, but this has opened up quite a nice gap now for the archers to shoot. So I think in Lion Rampant, if basically the majority of your unit can see an opponent, then they can shoot. Shooting is 360. I'm going to say that half of this unit can see, although they'll roll 12 dice, so there's still going to be 12 dice. Okay, so the archers are going to shoot. I don't think they could have seen enough of them before, but if they can see more than half, then they're going to shoot. Okay, think they've got a clear shot. Right, so the archers need a 7+ to attack, to be ordered to attack. Oh, that's a 9, yes, okay. Again with 12 dice, their shoot value is 4+, because they are elite troops, so 4+ shooting, okay, 4+ with 12 dice. Ooh. Oh yes, it's going quite nicely now for the Percys. That's, their armour is 3, so they lose 2 models, so they're gone, they've been destroyed by arrow fire, okay. So basically 6 hits, okay. If you've got 3 armour, every 3 hits removes a model. The light horse has only got 2 models left, so they've basically been destroyed by arrow fire, okay. So that's a pretty good round for the Percys. They've taken out a entire unit there in terms of horse, and they're still going. They've still got their orders to go. So what Thomas Percy is now going to try and move up this road. He's going to carry on, okay, death or glory, and he's hoping that his heavy cavalry are going to charge in from the left, because if they don't, he's going to be stuck on his own. So he's going to basically try and get up this road. Okay, 5. I think that's enough for a man-at-arms. Yeah, that's enough for men-at-arms to move. Okay, so he's going to move up this road as far as he can. Okay, coming up through the. Okay, there we go. Between the. Between the walls there. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's that. Right, let's see if we can get these men-at-arms moving up as well. Okay, so the men-at-arms, archers have already fired, the men-at-arms, they took a charge, they didn't do anything. Okay, they're now going to activate. 6, yeah, that's enough to move. They're still oh, sorry, no, they've got to rally. That's all they can do. They have to rally, okay? They need to rally by making a courage test. Okay. Right, okay. They need to rally, okay, which is another courage test, which is at -4. Alright, so they failed again. They found another courage test. So basically what happens is you just keep going, retreating and losing models if you keep failing the courage test. So what's happened here is they've lost another model. Basically what's going on is the men in the unit are disconcerted. They're still battered. In fact, they're battered again, really. So they lose another model and they retreat back another 3 inches. So they're not routing, but they are basically backing away from the fight. And some of the men in the unit are basically running off across the fields. Okay, so they're maintaining their unit is more than 6. Okay, for now. But if they fail 2 more courage tests, they're going to be severely in a very bad situation. Okay, so they lose another model. Okay, so I'll take that guy off. Okay, right. So they're now down to 7 models. So they're still more than half their unit size strength. So they're not going to get a -1 for half strength, but they're getting the +1 for Percy. He's within 12 inches, but that still wasn't enough. Okay, they needed a 4+ for their courage. Okay, they failed. Okay, so the billmen are basically backing away from the battle as Percy and his men-at-arms make their way up the road. Now, what needs to happen now is for these guys, these brave men on horseback, to get into this fight. So let's see if they can actually get into the fight and help Percy out. So, mounted men-at-arms, okay, the brave knights on horseback, they need a 7+ to move. So they're quite high. Now the reason why they're a 7+ and infantry units are like 5+, 6+ is because I think the idea is that it's harder to order these guys about, basically. They're nobles, they're aristocracy, they basically do what they like, don't they? They've all got their own horses, their own armour, they're here for the glory, okay? They're not going to take orders from just about anybody, okay? But Percy can order them, and we'll see how he gets on. He's within 12 inches, so if they fail, we can do this, redo this order, okay? 7, so they do it, okay? So they're moving up the road. So they want to get into a position where they can charge, really. They don't want to get too close, so they can be charged. So we want to move close enough, so we're within 10 inches. So there's 16, the furthest one's about 7 inches away. So if we move 8 inches, that will put them in charging range. Okay, there we go. So this is getting interesting now. These guys can now get into charge, okay, if they make their activation. These pikemen can't charge, they're too far away, so they can't charge, but they can move, so they could get into a better defensive position. So Billmen basically failed their rally, the archers shot, the men-at-arms moved, the heavy horsemen came forward. It's getting much more cramped in the middle now. Now, the archers up on the hillside, Percy's archers on the hillside, have thought, well, we've had enough of this. We're basically in a position where we can do nothing. So he's going to shout his archers down from the hillside. He's just in 12 inches. So if we fail this move, he can reorder them. Okay. Just a point, he couldn't have got the billman to re-roll that rally roll. That's not something he's allowed to do at his level of command. Okay, just to point that out. Okay, so the archers on the hillside are going to move. Remember that it's snowing, so we've got a limitation of a 12-inch movement, 12-inch range on missiles, 6+ to make the archers move. Oh, not good. Okay, Percy's going to shout at them, "Get down that hill!" Okay, and they they don't respond again. Okay, so they stay where they are. So the archers are letting the side down a little bit there. Okay, stuck up on the hillside. Right, so that is a Percy go. The archers shot. The billmen retreated. The men-at-arms came up the roadway. The heavy cavalry moved forward. The archers basically stayed where they are. Let's see what's going to go on next. So we're into the mercenaries. So again, the gunners, they're still out of range. Okay, so they're going to move forward as far as they can. The gunners again need a 6+ to move. Okay, so 6+, 7, ignore the cocked dice. Okay, so they're going to get up to this wall quite easily. Get up to this wall. Very nice defensive position for them. This is very nice defensive position. So they're lovely, snug behind the wall, ready to start pouring handgun fire into these archers. But these archers, still a full strength unit, are also in position to fire back. Okay, So they move, that's all they can do. Next unit is the billman. We're going to try, right, now the billman going to try and intercept Percy. They're not worried about the other billmen, they're on the way out really. They're also below strength. And they're not too worried about the archers because I think they're going to think the handgunners might deal with them. Okay, so billman, 5+ to move into position. Oh, do I really want to do it now? Do I want to use this command to get that re-rolled, or do I want to wait until the archers shoot at the mounted troops? I'm going to command it. I'm going to recommand it. Okay. Failed. Yeah, movement of billman is 5+. Failed. So the mercenaries turn. The tide turns. The mercenaries are now on the back foot. Now that means that my mercenary archers can't shoot the heavy cavalry. My crossbowmen can't shoot the heavy cavalry before they charge into the pikemen. So that is now a difficult situation now. So all those best laid plans that the mercenary captain had of positioning his crossbowmen and his archers to shoot as the cavalry came in have gone out of the window. Right, so back to the Percys now. Does it stop snowing? If it stops snowing, it advantageously, well, it's going to help the Percys. Okay, yes, it stops snowing on a 4. Right, so archers now at 18 inches, and anyone they shoot doesn't get the +1 on the armour. So now the tides have turned somewhat. Okay, so I think we're going to start with the cavalry charge. Yep, this small body of unit of heavy cavalry basically going to ram themselves into the pikeman unit. Now remember, the commander is in that pikeman unit. Now basically what happens, if any model is lost in that unit, I roll 2 dice and on a double 1 the commander is killed. Okay, so this could be pretty much battle over if that commander dies. Percy's also coming up the road, which means at some point he can issue a challenge to the commander as well. Okay, so here we go. We're going to order the cavalry to attack on a 7+. Oh, double 1. Oh dear. Right, Percy's going to bark his orders. He's within 12 inches. Okay. Come on, boys, get in there. 8. Right, okay. Yeah, they charge. Okay. So, the cavalry go in. 12 dice. Charge straight into this unit. They're easily within 10. Okay. They charge straight into the pikeman. And the pikeman didn't have chance to